You're listening to The Real Estate Ride. Make sure to subscribe and enjoy the show.
I went to a networking event last night, and it was, I've been feeling it's kind of slow, and everybody's saying the same thing. Just kind of sitting and watching.
Yeah, this market is going to be very regional specific. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Moving forward. And as you know, houses are very high priced right now. But
Yeah.
it could definitely be worth picking up some option deals or owner finance deals, especially is going to become a much more prevalent strategy here very soon.
Oh, yeah.
So I definitely see lots of opportunity ahead. I can tell you when the market was down before, I got into real estate when it was hot and there were 600 people at a RIA meeting.
Right.
That same meeting after the market tanked in 2008, 9, 10, I would go to that same meeting and there would be 15 to 20 people there.
Yeah.
So that should tell you that the opportunity is just massive because everybody else quit.
Right. One of the things we were talking about last night is if you look at the number of wholesalers that were communicating with you 6 months ago, that number is down.
Yeah, and you have to be able to educate sellers right now. That's going to be really key. Like sharing with them in your communication, like, hey, did you see these layoffs? Did you see that these tariffs, the prices of everything is going higher? Like, how much is it going to be to rehab houses now?
One of the flippers that was discussing that last night was talking about he's got, I think, 3 on the market right now and 2 about to come on the market. And the 2 that he has under contract sat on the market 40 days longer than they would over the last year.
Yeah.
And he's breaking even on one, and he's going to lose 5,000 on another.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that point where, and this happened to us before, where it started to turn, and that's when we shifted to lease options because we couldn't even sell our own properties. Like you said, you owe too much or you're going to take a loss, and I was not open to taking a loss.
Right.
So I'd rather get 10 or 20 grand down and give them a 3 or 4 year lease option to let the market kind of correct itself.
Yeah.
When it's hot, you're going to do a 1 year lease option because you want to maximize your potential of making more money if they don't perform in that first year. But in a down market, we change our strategy and we'll do a lease option for 3 to 5 years, locking them in hopes that the market will make a shift at that point, or that property values might go up a little bit, and then you'll be good. That makes sense to you. So
Turn after row at it when people are holding their flips and having to sit longer. What was some of the, what were some of the price point areas, bandwidths that wound up getting hit the hardest? Like, I know the very premium real estate, will probably
Yeah.
dip a little bit, but because of the school systems and the scarcity of the quality, it all better than others. But where the best opportunity is going to be, I guess, in the price band, or I think you know what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. It's definitely going to be in the first time home buyer pocket. And for your area, if you just look at the median price point, and I would drill it down to per city or per school district, right?
Yeah.
And I'll use either one of your areas or one of my areas as an example.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference? You want to do a couple of your areas?
Yeah, definitely. That was great.
So what city, what school district do you live in?
So I'm in unincorporated Jefferson County.
Okay.
So I'm kind of oddball location for a school district. But look, Irondale, I would say, is a good one. I would say Irondale is a good first time home buyer market, and also it abuts Mountain Brook, which is the medium hunchback brook, or $1 million. So there's some higher value stuff in the Irondale that's right adjacent to the Mountain Brook area.
Okay. And what's
You
your
also still buy a house for 150, 200,000.
Okay, so if I'm you and I live in your area, I'm looking to flip houses probably at 200,000 or less. I might inch up to 225, maybe even 250. But I would not go above that. Because when the market shifts, the people that already own homes probably have low rates. They don't want to move. So move ups kind of just die. Move ups. People start moving down. Right. Or over. They might buy the same price range house if they had to move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now what is a higher tier, like what's the hot school district close to you?
Closest to me, I would say my favorite is probably Homewood. It's on the opposite side of the city from me. So I'm on the east side of Birmingham, and it is on the southwest side of Birmingham to central south. And that's a great school district. It's probably the second or third in the area, if not the state.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not your creme de la creme, but it's definitely the tier people want to get into.
Yeah. So what's your median sale price there, you think?
450
450.
for the west side, which the west side, you into residential, then you hit a band of industrial / parks, like industrial space for lease, but also the city has some municipal parks there. So you can, there'll be a softball tournament or a volleyball tournament or basketball, soccer, stuff like that. So there's a lot of municipal ground over there. And then after that, you get into the west side proper, which is, it's where all the horror stories come out of and why we have 800 shootings a year in the city. So that side of Homewood, even though there's a large band geographically that will keep the criminals from just meandering over. The west side is, 450, 500, maybe 600,000 for a larger house, larger lot. But then when you get to the east side of Homewood, that's right next door to the Mountain Brook area, and those houses are now going for $1 million or more, just because of the proximity to the nicer area, even though they have the same school as the west side.
Yeah. It sounds kind of like Newark versus Granville. where I'm at in Newark, where I live. Not the best school district, cheaper taxes, entry level home, $250. Right.
Nice.
You're pushing it if you're above $350. Like, I would never flip anything in our city right now over $350
Gotcha.
because it's probably gonna sit. And the other thing to consider is the bigger your loan amount on these hard money loans, the bigger your payment.
Exactly.
And so now you're kind of like, back in the day, we had to calculate, hey, when it's 6 months to buy and fix it, but then way back when it was 9 months on the market to sell.
Exactly.
And so our goal was, can we sell in 6 months? And so our strategy then was to be the lowest price entry level home with all of the best features. Right?
Yeah.
And it was so bad then that buyers even asked the sellers to pay for the home inspections.
Oh, wow.
Like, they didn't pay anything.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Like, I get that side of the equation, and this would probably more benefit you than would benefit me just because of the operation level at which you guys operate.
Yeah.
One of the investors up here, my buddy Matt, he flips a ton of houses. And I mean, he's flipping high end. His low end houses are probably 250, but his average flip is probably 500 to 800.
Okay.
And with the downturn in the market, he has, I would say, exponentially boosted his digital presence to buy more houses right now.
Yeah.
And he is still picking up properties and flipping like wide open, 100 of these a year. And I'm curious if maybe he's got some data or put some thought into it. And I should probably just call him and ask him, but I wonder if, knowing that we're an affordable place to live, we still have out of state money coming into the market. And these people are coming and they're still willing to buy these houses because they're cheaper here. You for $800,000, which you can get here, compared to somebody fleeing California, a hell of a difference.
Oh, yeah.
So I wonder if that's going on. I wonder if with what's going on with the chip production they were looking to develop down there by you guys.
Yeah. So that actually, Intel has put that on hold.
Voters.
And I have heard that they are going to move in one of their subsidiary company
Okay.
instead. And I don't know what company that is or if they would utilize all of the space. But yeah, Intel has, everything was boom, 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 awesome, awesome.
Right.
All these properties were getting inflated pricing wise because Intel was coming. And then the news hit, Intel lays off 20,000 employees.
Right.
Intel not starting operations. So we're at a curve right now where we're, the peak happened. We're on the downturn a little. We're at the top of the downturn right now.
Gotcha.
And how far down we go,
where it stops, nobody knows.
That nobody knows. But there's definitely going to be a correction. And obviously commercial properties are going to take the biggest correction.
Right.
Because they have all of the adjustable rate ARM loans that are 3 or 5 years.
I was worried about this in 20. Well, I was looking at multifamily thought because I said, no, all this cheap money, when it corrects, everybody's going to have their tip hung in the ring or we're having to refinance these deals.
Yeah. It's going to be a great time to wholesale commercial properties.
Sure.
I know that. Some other things to consider is uh, what properties can you buy and add a lot of value to them, right?
Right.
So how can you add a half bath or a full bath or something?
Or even a bedroom like that one you and Greg were walking through.
Yeah, or even a bedroom. Yep. Yeah. So that's going to be extremely powerful when you're doing your flips. If you're doing flips. So yeah, we just made sure that we were doing that. We also started doing comps only going back 90 days. Okay. So I would start adjusting now. Like if you're doing flips or even rental, you're going to buy fixed rent and refi, right? You don't want to get caught with your pants down,
Right.
so to speak. So you want to make sure that you're only running comps back 90 days and not a whole year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Start there. And then if you don't get the data you need, go back one more month, 120 days.
And I'm still filtering buyers on my comps. Like, was this an end user buyer or was this an institutional?
Oh, definitely.
Because
Definitely.
the institutional guys were playing with smoke and mirrors.
Yep. Yeah, but it's still the American dream to own a home. The government's still going to grant money to people for a down payment. And so you just have to be prepared that that you're going to have to possibly pay for inspections eventually. You're going to have to pay all of their closing costs. The FHA buyers are going to ask for 6% in closing costs because they can.
A friend of mine who's buying in Georgia right now, she and her fiance are, later in life, both of modest means. And he had a little money in the 401k and wanted to buy them a house. She called me to ask me. She didn't understand the contract, and her buying agent that was representing her, it was their first deal, and they couldn't explain it to her. So she called me with a bunch of questions, and I was like, I don't know what I can tell you because I'm a licensed realtor, so I carry liability, but also I'm not in your state, so I'm not licensed there. I can't, you know. But I said, they were talking about how they couldn't afford the closing costs, and they were told that the buyer would or the seller would pay them, but then it showed up on their side of the HUD that they had to pay it. So I just basically instructed her. I said, you need to talk to your agent's broker and walk through them that your expectation is you'll pay the extra $10,000, let's say, to the principal of the house in the note. So for round numbers, if they want to sell it for 200, you can buy it for 210, but they have to pay that closing cost because you don't have the wherewithal to do it. But you can get approved for that loan at 210.
Yeah.
So they were approved up to, I think, like 218.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And it was crazy, but in the down market too, they would be hitting us up for a 10,000 under list price, plus pay our inspections, plus pay our closing costs.
Well,
And you're just trying to get them up a little bit so you can be close to list price,
right.
you know? So those are all things that that you're going to want to consider when you're looking for deals. So I think educating sellers, like if you can pull up some comps that sold for cash recently, you can be like, yeah, this is one I use all the time. Like, hey, Mike, I could have bought your neighbor's house last week, sold for 20 grand. So why would I pay you 40 for yours?
Right.
Like that one just went for 20. Right.
Yeah.
But now is when you can get into that. Hey, I will give you 20 cash, or I can give you 40 on terms. So I'll give you what you want, but you got to give me some terms for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm anticipating. My plan is, actually I have an hour today in the calendar with my new student, I guess. Yeah, and we're going to be pulling a list under the premise of we're taking down with terms and we're house hacking for cash flow, and we're not tying up a lot of cash. And that's going to be the exercise. So I think that's going to be a hell of an exercise and a list full and underwriting. I think it's going to blow his mind.
Oh yeah. And I think like starting to do that now is going to make it become a more powerful tool for you in the future.
Yeah.
Because you're accustomed to presenting that scenario.
Yeah.
And you want to have your list of benefits like, hey, what would you do if I didn't buy it? Like, you owe more than what it's worth and you can't afford the payment. What's your plan? Right?
Right.
Well, I'm offering you a solution now where you don't have to stress about payments anymore or fixing it. And I'm going to pay it every month to get it, keep it current, and your credit score is going to keep going up. Or if they're behind, hey, you already destroyed your credit. I'm going to catch up your mortgage. Now it's going to start reporting on time every month. This is actually going to help you long term to be able to get yourself a house in the future.
Right.
Because every month I pay your defaulted mortgage on time, your credit score is going up and up and up. And a lot of people, one of the main questions is, well, when will I be able to buy a house again? Well, that depends on when your credit's fixed, but also once I make 12 consecutive payments, most lenders will let you buy as long as I turn in evidence to you and them that I made your mortgage payment for 12 months and you turn in the paperwork showing that, I'm now responsible for this loan. And
But let me ask you this question.
yeah,
In that scenario, are you presenting as someone who has wrapped the loan, or are you presenting as almost a renter? Because that mortgage is going to have that due on sale clause.
yeah, I'll do a few different options and it depends on the state that I'm into. Like in Ohio, I'm going to do that as a land contract, which won't call the loan due.
Gotcha.
It shouldn't, because they still show up as the owner of record on title.
Right.
If you go to the county website, it won't say J. Adkins land contract. It'll say Mike Gentry owner, Mike Gentry LLC owner, or whatever.
Yeah.
But if they searched recorded documents, then they would see, oh, there's a land contract on this property now.
Right.
So that's one way. The other way is putting it into the trust and just leaving them on as an owner, 1% beneficiary of the trust. Now they still own it. Now in South Carolina, we just did a lease with an option to buy.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. And we're in this situation right now in South Carolina.
Yeah. But now, Mike, we're thinking about selling that property.
Yeah.
And so now we're talking about, okay, we're going to call an attorney there and say which way makes more sense to you and which one is more cost effective. Should we do a land contract here or a land trust? Because now if we want to flip it, the way our paperwork is with an option to buy, technically we're not the owner of record.
Right.
So it would be, the way our paperwork is now, it would be not possible for us to flip it. Unless we did some other creative things like get a power of attorney from the current owner and record a mortgage on the property. And then when they call for the payoff, we just put in there what our profit is.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit of not as normal of a scenario. And so some people can be like, oh, this feels like fraud. This feels like a scam. And so normally we go just with the regular land contract or the land trust.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, and that was one, that's an example. We took it over. The market was down there still. The owners only had like 7,000 in equity.
Mm.
And it was going to cost 10,000 to sell it.
Oh, wow.
And that's not including them cleaning the property out or getting it ready to sell. So that's why they opted to do the option with us. And now that property has like $100,000 in equity.
Very nice. It's been executed in order to figure that out.
What's that, Mike?
That's definitely a good time to execute on it before, anything potentially drops, because you moved out, or pay off the underline and put cash in your pocket. And if the original owner had an interest in a trust or something like that, they'll get a little kicker. So.
Yeah, we just feel like it's time to exit that one. It's the only one in that state that we have. And it is a pain in the butt when stuff goes wrong or we need stuff fixed or done, or we don't have a team there. And that does make it a little more challenging.
You're right.
But yeah, there's all of those scenarios are going to be becoming more prevalent in the coming months and years. So keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah.
Sharpen up your creative pencil.
That is definitely the plan. I was talking to an investor last night who he owns the bail bondsman company. Yes, he's a realtor and his wife's a realtor. They basically used their proceeds from the bail bondsman company to buy a bunch of rentals. And he was talking to somebody on the little ring of people we were with, and he said something about, I thought about maybe trying to sell one of them on a note just to see how that works. And one of the attorneys that was standing there was like, okay, you need to go over there and you need to talk to her. You need to talk to the guy in the beard, the big guy with the big beard. He knows all the creative stuff. Most of them just do, traditional investment. And I was like, man, you're leaving so much money on the table if you do it the way you're talking about doing it. We're supposed to go have lunch. And how's everything going in Florida?
It's going. We haven't been able to go back down and probably won't be able to go back down until like June 20 something. So
Yeah, Florida's. Oh, sorry, Annie.
I was going to say we keep thinking that we can go down before then, but then other things take place and we can't. So
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys were pretty close. Is it just operating as is, or
Yeah, well, the house in Port Charlotte is operating and is fine. There's a few things that we could always do there, but we don't have to do anything. It's rented for this month, so that's good. Um, the one house in Bradenton is operational and can be rented out. It's just a downtime because it's a 55 and over community, and all of the, all the snowbirds are now back at home or leaving to go home soon. So,
right?
and then the other house in Bradenton needs, like, it's not leaking anymore when it rains, but it's temporary. So it's only good for 90 days, and then we have to put something like over top of it, and it has some water damage from the roof still leaking from before, so it's in pretty not rough shape, but it's not in good shape. So it's in need of some work, so we have to go down and finish that one, and then they'll all be good to go and can be sold or rented or whatever. I don't even know what I want to do with them anymore. I kind of feel like there are days where I just want to sell everything and run for the
When crazier times like this, it definitely weighs on the nerves a lot more.
right. So we may be selling some stuff soon. We may not be. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
Now's the time to sell, supposedly, but at the same time, I don't know a whole lot of people that are buying a whole lot of things other than like first time home buyers or somebody looking for their own personal house.
Yeah, I will tell you, if you're selling rentals right now, like you're best to get the tenant out and do some work to it and sell it to a retail buyer.
Right. Because there's not a lot of like not a lot of real estate investors are buying a lot of real estate investment properties that are done. You know what I mean? That are done and yeah. For the same reasons that we're talking about selling them,
yeah.
So I felt like we've rode this wave before, so it's not something that we can't do. It's just a matter of what makes the most sense to get us to where we want to be, kind of thing.
Right. And that definitely makes sense.
And we go back and forth depending on the day, I feel like. Some days are worse than others.
Yeah. A lot of people right now that are, that are not flush with $5-6 million liquid that are in, kind of the tier we're in, are probably definitely trying to think about ways to free up a little cash because, the other side of this cycle is things will be in sale
Right.
that we want to.
Yep. For sure. For sure.
Um, shoot, I forgot what I was going to say.
That I can help you with this time.
Some timers is kicking in, guys.
Oh, my word.
That's not cool. I was gonna say it should be a great time to wholesale too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been talking about doing more of that.
Especially now that like in the last crash there weren't, like, you didn't have a bunch of hedge funds buying properties.
Right.
Now you do. Like hedge funds and foreigners will buy up America when it crashes.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be opportunity there as well. If you can get a couple of hedge funds going,
Yeah.
Get them on your list, and yeah, wholesaling some properties.
Yes. Let me ask you this: as far as a good way to kind of figure out your hedge funds, um, what do you think? Pull a list of who's closed in the last 60 or 90 days and start looking for hedge fund names. They'll have a couple of repetitive purchases, and then
Yeah, pull all your
reach out to them, open a dialogue.
pull all your cash buyers, and see who's bought more than one property. And I would say you could even go back a year or two even.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely go a year back, just in case. If you go back like 60 or 90 days,
Yeah.
you only see everything. I think if you go back a year, that's really going to tell you who's really the active people. Another good way to build your existing cash buyer list is go to your county sheriff's sale
Yeah. Yeah.
and try to get people's names and phone numbers that show up with cash to buy properties at the courthouse steps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because those guys will pay top dollar. They're paying like 90 cents on the dollar retail. It blows my mind. And that a lot of times that's without even getting in to see the house.
Oh, wow.
Hey everybody, it's Jay.
This is Annie.
We are so grateful for you joining us on our podcast and listening in and participating. We want to offer you this additional free bonus, and that is joining our Facebook group.
Yes, where we will have other individuals, not just us, but having conversations on all things real estate, and we would love to have you join us. So just click the link below and head on over and join our group.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the other side.